Hello, everyone. Welcome to another open flow with myself, Ocean, Callie, and our first guest, Lana Brown.
Hello.
Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you all for joining us today. We've got a pretty great topic to explore. I think it's going to be a charged conversation, and yeah. Um,
Okay, so you want to introduce the topic.
yeah.
So today, hmm, how to set the stage for this one, right? So we're coming at this in an attitude of grounded love and with the intention of co-collaboration with the masculine. But a lot of us women, especially healers in the space, holistic practitioners, priestess vibe girlies, we're wondering about this shift that we suddenly find ourselves a part of, right? A lot of things have been changing with the masculine as well. And we're noticing these things in our personal lives. And it's been kind of a surprise, I think, for a lot of us. And sort of there's been a lot of heartbreak involved. There's been a lot of unhealed men that are surfacing that we have attracted. And feel free to add in at any point your perspective. So we want to open the table, open this for open discussion because it is a real thing for a lot of us, especially that are in the space.
Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna have a conversation about the masculine and how we've been in relationship with it, what we've observed, and it's really not coming from a place of hate or shame or anything, just like having an honest conversation about it with aims of healing, really, and yeah.
And I think that's what we really want in our hearts, is to heal and grow in relationship with the masculine. And that's like what we're trying to work towards collectively is relationships that can exist that way with both, really
Hmm.
growing and healing together.
Awesome. Alana, do you have anything to add?
Um, yeah, I think, the past few years of my journey have been marked by a lot of distortion when it comes to relationship with the masculine. And it's actually taken me further down my own relationship with my own inner masculine, my own animus, as people say it here in some perspective. And so I come at it with like the very personal 3D heartbreak and disappointment with a higher perspective of what's happening on a collective level. And then even higher of what's being asked for us, especially if any of us, I'm a shaman, I'm a priestess, I've taken oaths, I have to to give birth to new paradigms, to give birth to the masculine by giving birth to my own masculine. So, none of this comes from a lack of personal work or inner work. It all comes from observation and like compassion ultimately.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alana, would you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yes, 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 yes. I am a priestess under a traditional Filipino lineage, and I am an initiated shaman, but I am a spiritual guide and mentor, an embodiment coach, a body worker, um, an earth steward, a land steward. And so I primarily work with women in retreat settings. I work on a lot of ancestral healing and shadow work. And then I also have mentorships and with women and especially leaders who are in charge of big groups of people. Right now, I think of myself as raising up an army of Trojan horses, kind of in the corporate world, so I can help women connect back to their hearts, get their hearts in coherence with Mother Earth's heart, so we can shift the entire paradigm of how business is done in this world from the inside out.
Beautiful. Oh, beautiful. And that's exactly where it starts.
Yeah.
When we reconnect with what is whole, what is our home, that we have been disconnected from. And when we can do that, in collaboration with the masculine, I think that's where the healing really begins.
Sure.
It really does. Thank you.
Yeah.
so happy to have you here. I'm so excited.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. That's beautiful. Um, awesome. Well, let's dive into a little bit of the astrology. We are in some turbulent times. I'll go ahead and share my screen, and ladies, feel free to comment any of your perspectives as well. I've got a few notes. So here's the chart for right now, July 7th. Um, each of these glyphs represent a planet or energy. And you can see Mercury retrograde here at 23 degrees Cancer. Jupiter is now in Leo. Chiron is in Taurus. Mars is flying through Gemini. So we're in a new energy dynamic. And I think this Mercury retrograde is really kind of the heavy hitter of this time. Everyone's going to be experiencing it differently depending on where you have Cancer in your chart. The shadow zone of Mercury is from 16 to 26 degrees Cancer. So that's really the range that we're traversing. Yeah. So here's Mercury. Pretty soon, Venus is going to enter Virgo, and I think that's going to bring another shift. So also a good time to let go, whether we want to or not. It feels like that's kind of the dynamic, is this letting go energy.
Totally. And like you said earlier, themes that have traveled through the week, our last call, I mean, that was a big one. On our last call, the theme of just letting go. Oh, man. And yeah, just like the burning of whatever is left over,
Yeah.
you know, that maybe we didn't even realize. And I love to actually watch the messages that we've channeled along with the astrology from when we even started the channel, because it's just all been so relevant in each of our lives. And it's been beautiful for me to kind of have this reflection also in the channel. And so I hope that other people are finding it the same.
Yeah, I think really what we're building towards is, if we fast forward a week from now, this is really like a culminating point. We have the new moon in Cancer, and with that, so on July 13th, that's the day before the new moon, we'll have a Sun Mercury Cazimi. It's when the Sun and Mercury meet up. And I think that's really going to highlight what this whole retrograde is all about, right? It's like we're all going through our own process, but when the Sun and Mercury come together like that, I think it's going to be a moment. So July 13th is the day. It's going to happen at like 6:30 on the West Coast, 9:30 p.m. on the East Coast. But then the next day, the moon will meet with Mercury, and that's like leading into the new moon. So it's actually from July 12th to July 14th that it's kind of like boom, 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 boom of, Sun and Mercury, Moon and Mercury, and then the Sun and Moon together. So those days next week, like, are, I would say, like,
All in Cancer.
all in Cancer.
My sun, moon, and Mercury are all in Cancer, and my birthday's on July 13th.
Oh,
Oh
oh
my
my
What's gonna happen to
God.
me? Wait, what's gonna happen?
Oh my God, that is like so profound. It's good
I
though,
know.
like you said, that this retrograde, you've been like really feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel at this point my just capacity in life has just expanded to the point that I've become a pro surfer. So I'm like,
God.
yeah, whatever.
You going to ride some waves. You said
That's
Oh,
July
right.
13th.
Yeah. All
That's
right.
really, it's pretty inspiring. I think you're going to have a year of like inner gnosis, I would say, for sure.
It has been, yeah. I mean, already, and I'm like, let's do it. I have an Aries rising and a Mars in Aries at 0 degrees, so it's been like,
Ooh, but
yeah,
you
yeah, no, yeah, girl, I'm
you went
on.
through a huge activation then in February, right? Did you feel that?
I am a whole different person. Even
Whoa.
from February and then from last year, I'm like, who is she? Yeah,
You are birthing new earth, girl.
thank
I see
you.
you.
Period. Yes.
Wow, that's cool. Any
Yeah.
questions, ladies? Or
no, I feel
comments?
like it's going to be interesting for me too. My mom's son in Cancer. I'm not sure, she just had her birthday on, what is today? She just had her birthday on, it was Sunday, the 5th. And they're actually going to, I have big mother wound stuff that I've been working through like
Mhm.
this time. And she's going to be arriving on the 15th with my daughter.
Ooh.
Yeah, bringing her from Kansas where she's been with her dad. And so it'll be my half of the summer. And I'm just really curious to see kind of how how I feel and how I feel differently because I haven't been with my daughter in the last month and a half. And of like this time of transition and complete transformation and total like
Yeah.
exodus of past life. It's just like, so I'm excited to have my daughter back and be in the presence of my mother after all of these changes that I've been going through. I feel it's gonna
Wow.
be, yeah.
That's beautiful. I think, I mean, with cancer, it's the sign of motherhood and all of that.
My mother is a sign of motherhood. Yes.
With
Yeah.
and with the new moon, it's really an opportunity to like set new intentions. And so for you
Yeah.
especially, like I would just visualize like how you want to your relationship with your daughter and like set beautiful intentions with that.
We will be. I have a friend who does family constellations. And so she's going to be doing a meeting with both myself, three generations, my mom, me, and my daughter. And we're going to compile everything. I know. And I don't even know what will be discovered. Like, I've never run through her process before, but I'm doing this as like a test for her, but also something that'll be kind of bonding for the three of us. So I'm really excited to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something's coming through really, if I may, like just
Please.
because, you just mentioned your mother wound, and it's like, a lot of what we go through with the masculine is also a deep reflection of our own inner mother wounds. We always say, oh, it's my
So true.
father. And it's not just our father, it's both, right? But they're
Right.
playing out these things, and it's funny you say that because in what the sort of like rupture I had last week, I found myself in a very specific, and that's the work I do, subconscious reprogram. I'm an ancestral healer, so I work through lineage. And I was sitting there with like a 6-year-old version of me being like, I'm like, what is this feeling? Like, what is this telling me? And it took me to me and my mom and a thing that I thought I had healed from that we're working through. And I was like, I had to look at whatever I went through and just be like, all right, well, thank you. I saw it. I saw it again, that it's like present. So it's so interesting that that's also coming up for you. And unsurprisingly, I would say for many women, especially working through all this, like with the masculine, we're dealing with our father wounds, we're dealing with our mother wounds, and our ultimate mother wound is that of our wound with this planet.
So true.
Right. And balance needs balance, just to add a little bit to what you said, right? So it's like one heals and then it heals the other. They both touch.
Yep.
It's kind of similar to the idea that, some people believe that our minds and our hearts and our spirits and our physical bodies are separate things. No, you know, they all touch. They all affect one another. Everything is a ripple effect.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
and then,
A few thoughts. One thing that was coming up really strongly is like honor your shell. Like honor your shell. That feels really loud. Even just like putting yourself in a protective shell and like allowing things to bounce off and just like having that
Little
sense of
crab
safety.
shell. Little crab
yeah.
shell. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a teacher who says he's an old like Dene like Navajo man, and he says, "Let it just roll off your back like water on a duck's back." And I'm like,
Mm,
okay, I get it. And that for us, it's like, how do we stand firm with our feet firmly planted, a bit of a shield up, but not so protected that we're blocked off, right? And
Right.
that is like the ultimate skill for all of us, especially as women. Like, how do I lead from the heart while also kind of protecting my, how do I allow my heart to get broken open instead of shattered
yeah.
into pieces? It's just like the gift and I don't want to call it curse, but the gift and the task, whatever.
It's
The
super
constant
dynamic. Yeah, and it's like such artistry too.
is artistry of constantly coming back to yourself and constantly coming back to putting yourself first. And that's something that we do multiple times throughout the day. Kelly and I were just chatting about, how much time and energy it's been taking us just to show up, right? But
Mm.
that's what we need to be doing right now. That is the soft shell, because we need to do what we need to do to take care of ourselves first. And sometimes that means that, we're giving more to ourselves so that we can give more to others. No one can show up at 100% every day. And it
Hmm.
is this constant, and maybe this is my Libra thing, totally, right? But it's just like this constant kind of dance, maybe,
Yeah.
like, in our own self-care, and which extends to communication, which extends to how we interface with the world, and our closest relationships, as well as those people that we've never even met before. There's so much there.
Yeah. I have one other reflection on what you were speaking to, Alana, about the mother wound. One of my observations in this, last situation that I've been in, just like observing relationships with people and men in general, it's like I was noticing how like his mother wound was projecting onto me, and like this creating this repeating this cycle of like just wounded patterning that it's like you can choose to engage or disengage with, and just like I think it really just speaks to doing the work, like to showing up for your inner child and like healing those parts of yourself so that your patterns don't keep repeating. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that and understanding. I mean, yeah, having the compassion. I've like that has been the ultimate practice, right? It's like coming back to compassion, but with like the soft shell to not let the compassion take you into self-abandonment, right? And like
Right.
that I think is the hardest part. And um and like these deep attachment wounds that many, I want to say pretty much all of us in some capacity, but many of us had, especially if you're like in this work, right? Those are things you have to work
Mm-hmm.
through. Like you're always looking for that person to like be the one who doesn't let you down, and they're looking for that in you too, and you're both just like trying to get your needs met, and both protecting yourself and both defending yourself. And like women, we've learned the vocabulary, we've done the work, we've taken the initiative, we've been the good little girls, we've been great students about it. Yeah, like learned how to be the ultimate, like, I can speak therapy speak and call out your patterns and even call out my own patterns. But so much of the hard part about being the mother and like being a mother, like Ocean and I are both moms, is like there is a time you actually do have to let go. Like you do have to let go. And that's kind of what we talked about the other day, Ocean. I was just like, every single time, whether you believe in God, the universe, the ancestors. I mean, I say God. That's how I frame that relationship, and I'm like, give it to God because ultimately,
Yeah.
who am I to assume that I can do for this person what the divine can do? I cannot, even though divine works through me,
Yeah.
and then vice versa. Like, I am putting this person, like it or not, on a pedestal to do for me what only the divine can do for me, what only God can do for me. Um, and I do find ourselves like, as much as it's like it's painful and we want to walk with someone, I'm consistently and constantly reminded like I'm not alone. And I do feel like God is like, walk with me first. Like walk with me,
Mm-hmm.
walk with me, walk with me, walk with me. And we're all getting kind of put on ice in a way.
Yeah.
Uh, and like I'm like, oh, I hate it.
And we
But
have
like,
to be comfortable with that. And I am like in a place where I'm actually super comfortable with that.
yeah,
Like it was
like,
hard. I thought it was like, I don't know, I was questioning my own sanity at times because I have always, to a degree, and this was the healing of my inner masculine, needed to have so much control over my life, my surroundings, like literally everything. So I
yeah,
am the most surrendered that I've ever been in my entire life right now.
nice.
It's beautiful. It was hard to get here. But like you're saying, right? It's like there is an edge, and this is with our children, but this is also in our partnerships
Yeah,
where we know we can no longer do for that person, like you said. And
yeah,
so when you get there, that's when you come back to yourself. And then you just, like you said, leave the rest up to source, God, whatever God, goddess, however you name her, him, it, all.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, I think recognizing that edge is so key, right? When you're starting to feel like you're getting burnt out in the relationship or you're wanting to withdraw or you are disassociating, like that's a big one for me, right? I'm like, I'm listening to you speak, but it's like I don't, right? It's like bouncing off my forehead. Right, like that's the edge. And that's where we need to lean into source and come back to ourselves. And I think that keeps the balance.
oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard, especially like on the internet and the way AI and the algorithm have become so smart. You're already starting to see like we are creating what we see on the internet. Like you have a rupture with a man, and then all of a sudden your feed is like, and like
Yeah.
all the things like the worst, right? And you're like, yes. And like, right, what you focus on increases, as they say. Um,
Yeah, so
it's
true.
been one of those things of like having to get off of what everyone else is thinking, be like, what am I feeling? What is true for me? And then like even uncover that truth. What is true for me? What is this showing me? And then also being like, and also I don't want to keep being in this, and also I need to give this space, and also I cannot do the work for this person. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I've learned the
Yeah. I'm
most.
curious if you guys feel the same way. For me, um, the text. I thought I
Mhm.
turned it down. For me, it's like I've been in all these groups of women, all these circles lately, and having similar and synchronous experience that we relate on with others, but it's like, do you have inside of you kind of like a capacity where you're like, okay, like I'm no longer feeling like I want to continue talking about this. Like now it's time for me to reflect and stop kind of outsourcing my intuition, or expressing or externally processing.
Mm.
Like I feel like I hit that kind of last night. I was just like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I really just want to integrate it now and embody it and move on and bring me the next one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like you have that?
I think for me, it's like I feel this strong call. I'm a little bit, I have a little bit of a fear of being seen still. And so most of my processing is through morning pages and writing. And it's like, that's how I have my conversation with God. And but I know I need to be sharing. So it's almost the opposite. Like I need to be sharing these things, but there's like a wall there where I'm afraid. And just the whole curating and sharing, like there's some part of it that, there's a
Mm.
barrier there for me. Um, yeah.
That's
Oh, we
interesting.
should talk after this.
What's that?
But I I'm like in the place where I've done so much processing, and then through my process, like I call it subconscious recoding or subconscious repatterning. And it's a mix of like shamanic journeying and like psychological kinesiology. It's like what I do in this world. And I've gotten so deep in and of myself that I'm like, I've seen the things. I know what's happening. Do I It's like and I've talked about it a lot, I've processed it a lot, I've like worked with people, and I'm at the point now that I'm like, I am sitting here in a town that I never really wanted to live in, actually did not want to live in. It's where my parents live, it's not where I'm from. I'm like alone. It's like me and my daughter, and she's kind of in between my parents and and I'm like, I have been plucked. I don't have friends here. I mean, I make friends wherever I go, but I'm like, I am here. I'm like, all right, God, use me. I'm here to serve. So
Mm.
at this point, like where I'm at currently, I'm like, do I want like a person and all the things and like the perfect person? And I'm like, you know what? I have love in my heart for someone pretty deeply, and like I hold that there. And then I'm like, and I'm here to serve. And so I'm just trusting that that's like all I want. Like it's not like I want to work. I'm like I'm here to like work with women and work with
Mm.
people. And like that's I'm like, all right, like and I think a lot of women, especially who are in like medicine, like healing medicine work, space holding, we're all getting kind of like, Ocean, you and I talked about it, like the amount of like ruptures there's been amongst um like everyone in partnerships, and especially like us in the medicine. It's like I think right now it is that true. God's putting us on ice, putting us here to serve, to help ourselves, to serve others,
Yeah.
so God can also do the work in ways that we can't with the masculine.
Yeah.
And I say that while also being like this feeling, this almost like a little bit of a guilt or something in me, because I'm like, but I want to help and I like want to be there and I want to like see them through
Yeah.
it and I want to like um hold them, and I want to like that's my wound. I'm like I want to be the girl that changed it all. Like I want to be the one that, right? That's like my wound. I'm like I'm not like other girls. Like whatever it is,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
call myself out on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. So yeah, you're really feeling the on ice is what you're talking about. I think I'm definitely feeling that too because I'm like, okay, this is a sacred pause. That's what I call it.
Love
You
is a
know, to really just pour into ourselves, to really like polish and hone our gifts, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that will ripple outward, regardless of if we're in a relationship or not, in relationship or not. And I think for me, that does come with a bit of a sting, because you know, like I had high hopes, you know, and I really, truly, deeply believe in divine union because I've seen it, you know, in a couple of my very close friends that are, you know, even in the spiritual community and healing space. And I'm like, wow, I really want that. And so there is a bit of bitterness and sadness that I've been sort of processing because I actually believed that this is what that was.
mm,
The situationship, the relationship that I'm just coming out of now. But yeah, like, yeah, God, here for it. Just dig into my books and my practice and, you know, all those things
that's
again.
beautiful.
Just keep growing and learning,
I
living
mean,
and connecting with girls like you.
you know, you mentioned at the beginning, like you're gonna move through this whole piece with your mother and your daughter, and it's like it sounds like that's about to be one of the keys to unlock what should or can be divine union for you. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because then you get to show up in a wholeness, in a not trying to recreate or see or finish a pattern with someone that's like what's happening with your mother. So it's like now that will prepare you for that.
Thank you for that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really needed to hear that. My heart needed to hear that. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah. I had a really beautiful visual when you were talking earlier, Ilana, about walking with God and how, like, as a human, like, being anchored to earth and, like, heaven, like, in that alignment, rather than, like, connecting out with other people, and how when you're, like, centered and aligned like that, you just have more of, like, a whole approach. And I feel like that's part of the challenge of this time, you know, is, like, to deepen our connection like that and then meet people from a more, you know, embodied whole level.
Right. Exactly. Being whole within ourselves and centered within ourselves instead of trying to connect to find that thing, right? Creating it here instead. Yes.
Yeah.
I think I
And
just
it's hard to
read
think.
about that in a book.
Which,
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. Go ahead.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's funny you said that visual. With my name, Ilana, it means tree in Hebrew,
Hmm.
and I always think of myself as like branches up here, roots down there. But
Yeah.
you know, I think that's where it's funny how this conversation is shifting. And but I also do believe it's starting to shift into a place of radical accountability, and that's probably where maybe the mature feminine needs to be moving into because there does get to the point where everyone's like, I'm sick of men, I can't we know, girl, we're all like, yes.
Yeah,
Like
we're
it
like
is
there, like, but
it's
also,
horrendous. Like it is not it, right? Like so gross. But also specifically people who see themselves as leaders, as guides, as new earth leaders, we don't get to wallow, revel, and perpetuate a frequency that does not serve something higher. So that is, and it sucks because we want to be like, because it's like funny, right? Like the memes are hilarious. They are
yeah.
genuinely like so funny, right? And you're just like, oh. And then you're like, okay, but I can't like this because then my whole algorithm will whatever. But it's like we don't get to. And like that's a hard conversation. I've had my ancestors are like, you're better than this. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And they're like, yes, you are.
That's where
And
my earlier question came from. Like, do you recognize that place when it's like, okay, I no longer get to, and then it's like, I'm leaving the party early. Everyone
yeah,
asks where I am. I'll be gone. Like, I don't want to discuss it. Like, it's like,
yeah. And like as radical accountability to be like, okay, well, like, how do I and I show up whole? And I do think there's a bit of dare I say, like a bit of a trap in some of like the feminine embodiment, whatever work. Like, and I'm watching it like teeter, even amongst priestesses. And I also say that with reverence and respect that everyone has their divine assignment and how they're supposed to communicate and what they're supposed to turn on and who they're supposed to turn on. So, you know, this is not judgment. Like everyone's on their journey with the people they're supposed to reach and touch in the way they're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, it's like it is easy to be get into that sort of cycle. And I do feel a lot of it's like, you don't need men, you don't need this. And you don't, it's like, no, but a lot of us want union, and like ultimately that's how, just like at a biological level right now, like how the world keeps kind of churning for those of us who crave that in this world.
Yeah,
For those of us who have been given that sort of dream and assignment
Yeah.
and vision. So,
totally.
whew, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
what's comforting to me in all this is that, like, I feel our work in the 5D being reflected in the 3D, right? And so it's like, I know that even though this is extremely uncomfortable and painful, and it's like our hearts are breaking wider, like a lot throughout this whole process of our own growth and process of what we're here to do. It's like, we see things rearranging, and that, like, I am my friend just told me the other day, she's like, you are one of probably the most, like, she's like, I can't even explain it to you. It's just the most heart wide open optimism for all of humanity. She's like, that's like, and I admire that about you so much. And I was like, thank you, because that's really hard, you know,
Mm-hmm.
especially it's like to choose that. And it is a conscious choice for me. And that is part of my calling here, is to always be that person that is going to be like, okay, but this is where we're going, and I know that as long as you keep coming home to yourself and you keep putting one foot in front of the other and you're showing up for yourself, like, it's all going to be okay.
Yeah.
It will. We are held. There is absolutely zero, doubt in my mind, and I know this is the purpose of my journey right now that I've been on, just to make my belief, like, really lean into my truth even harder than I ever have. Trust.
Yeah, I feel that. I want to share something with you guys. I was sifting through my morning. I have like so many notebooks right now, and I'm trying to go through them and read and organize. But my style is like I'll just flip it open and see like what wisdom comes through. So
Bibliomancy of your
Book
journal.
scrying
yeah,
of your own writing.
I
I love
grabbed this one. It's from February of 2025, and I flipped it open yesterday, and this is what it showed up to. It's like a little poem I wrote about men. So, and I've done a lot of work around forgiveness, and like I pray for miracles for men, and like I really do love the men in my life. Like like I feel like my relationship mostly is solid, but it's that whole self abandonment thing too. It's like I have to have compassion and love for myself first, and like choose my battles wisely. And it's not my job to battle like other men's demons. Like I'm not taking that on. Anyways, that's not what this poem is about. But I'll just read it to you guys. I've forgiven men. Now forget the past. It will be easy to move on after that. Let go of the story. Pick up a new thread. Ego dissolution is a natural effect. Welcome the change and with it the growth. In support and sacred reverence for soul growth. Yeah. So just wanted to share that with you guys.
That was in 2025. You,
Yeah, last
nice,
February.
nice.
And then there's just one other little bit that popped out yesterday. It's same era. This is now in April, but it says shadow talks. Let the shadow be seen. Allow the shadow room to breathe. Dancing with the shadow changes its shape, illuminating new figures, shapes, and shades. Ask your shadow, do you want to be seen? Are you comfortable there? What do you need? So, yeah, the
I think we can all, really apply that.
yeah, just wanted
Yeah.
to share that.
No, that's real though. That's beautiful. Uh, I think a lot of us are getting those hits. Yeah, I think it was like 20 it's July 4th, 2022. And I remember just this very clear download. You're going to be working with men one day. And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? And like now I finally have my first like male mentee, and I'm starting to notice like guys, and that's been a thing my whole life. And I would say, Ocean, I'm sure you're like very skilled and practiced in it. It's just like men opening up to you and feeling comfortable and feeling safe with you,
Yeah.
and offering like safe intimacy, like,
Was
that
my work,
not,
and
yeah.
and I really had to give myself some appreciation for that, actually, earlier today, now that you mention it, for for being that, regardless of, like, also being what I was, right? Like, for being that safe space. And that's the beauty of what it was. It's the duality there, is like, for being that safe space, even though it wasn't private, even though, it wasn't always that, like, so many times I really was just the room owner. Like I just was the holder for that man emotionally. And I found myself in so many situations where like I felt like I was the mother, and it was
Yeah,
just
you
about
were.
sex or like, any of that stuff. It was like, and it was healing. And I think like I call it my inner yoga teacher, right? But it's like every single client that I had, I was always able to find that little spark or that little
Hmm.
thing inside of that man, like regardless of the whole situation,
Yeah.
as a whole, that
The
was
temple
beautiful
priestess, you know,
that I
you're
could relate
temple
to, and yeah, that was a special part of it. Like very, what a
sacred
multifaceted
role.
thing.
A super sacred role. Like it's a super sacred role. Like it is a really deep honor and responsibility to hold a man's heart.
Yeah.
I mean, that is something we have these sort of stories and metaphors of like, men to be able to take his armor off in front of you and for you to be the safe space as well. And I think like we all desire that. Yeah. Um, and like we've all been on the journeys of trying to become safe spaces. Uh, and then right, the things come up and we're all human, we're still working it out. But I do feel the pain of men. Like I see it in my father, I see it in my brother's
Yeah.
partner, like my ex-husband, just guys I know, right? And I'm like, this dude's in pain, y'all. Like he
Yeah.
is in pain. And then it's like also I can't have you bleeding all over me either.
Yeah, the boundary.
Yeah.
Thing, but it's like it is and like being the mother, like I feel like that's why this sort of holy mother frequency is like preparing us, grounding us. We're becoming a vessel of love. Um, and it requires so much heart posture on our end.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and for me, like when I said, God, make me a vessel of your love, and this is when I was trying to restore a marriage like years ago, and it was like that, and it's like I was just like all the things came up and out, and I'm like, oh, how do I become a safe space for a man's demons? Like I remember it was 2024, and I was given a vision. It was like May 2024, and I saw myself kind of laying. It was almost as if I had to lay my body down for a man to work his demons out, like to use the power of my womb to alchemize it. And I'm not advising, like, all of us are like trying to suppress all of that, right? Like that's some like old shit coming up. Like that's a certain level of alchemy. Um, and at like the base level, that is what intimacy will bring up the things so that you can transmute it.
Yeah.
Um, I really think the government needs to just be paying us for all of this, right?
I'm
Like,
in a big house for the government right now.
Yeah.
like, I need to get
It's like, our services should be covered by health insurance.
or
Let's start their healthcare
something, or
revolution.
like yeah, just like
Yeah.
No, it's so
something.
real.
It's it's real work, and like
Yeah.
these guys be taking it on, and we take it on too, and like
Yeah.
I can feel the man's pain, and
Yeah.
I'm like I feel that loss today. That like today on July 7th, 2026, like today, presently in this moment, maybe not later, maybe not earlier. I'm like I feel a bit lost. I'm like I don't know how to help you other than getting out of the way right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than coming back to yourself. And that's
Yeah.
it.
That's where I'm at. I had a reflection on like the safety thing, like being a safe space for other men. I feel like um, there's been this shift within me that feels like, an activation of the feminine where it's like, okay, I could be a safe space for men, but like I need to be safe first. And in this case, like I saw a grown man, like all of his demons come out, and it was like, no, no, I know I can, but I like out of self-respect and just like also the responsibility, right? If I take on that responsibility, I can't show up for my community the way that I need to. And I just it's like a no. And I'm sick. I'm like, get your shit together and like battle your own demons. Like I've got we all have our own, like step up, rise up, do the work is just how I'm feeling about it. I had I had this crazy visual just a few days ago after the 4th of July where I literally just felt like I was being psychically attacked in like all directions. And I told one of my spiritual friends, I was like, I just feel like I'm being attacked. And he's like, call on your namesake, Kali, and stand in the middle of like a ring of fire and have it be like illuminated who you're dealing with. And so I did that. And oh my God, you guys, I saw like hundreds of demons in all directions. And I was like, what? And so, yeah, I didn't know what to do. I called on Jesus actually. I was like, I need saving right now. Can you please help? And he came
Yeah.
through and we battled him, but I feel like I'm like recovering from it and I'm just like sick of being a warrior when there's like peaceful work to do, you know?
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. I think that something that's coming up for me right now is the energy work and the protective work that is become a part of
Yeah.
my daily practice. That absolutely is a non-negotiable for me. You know, and
Yeah.
it's not like I want to protect myself from men, but it's like protecting your own energy, like you said, so that you can show up for yourself first, so you're not like exhausted. So you're not taking on these external forces, these external energies, so we can have duck medicine. You know what I mean? Like so that we can
Mm-hmm.
just let things roll off us, and that we can easily cleanse ourselves, and staying in the practice of cleansing every day in some
Yeah.
form.
Purification, cleansing. For me, it's been like really, as I started getting like refining my practice, like my subconscious recoding practice, I stopped becoming a vibrational match for those things. So like
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've been psychically attacked in a very long. It's just because it has nothing to bounce off of inside of
Yeah.
me. It's just like there's not that energy has dissipated. I have rewrote the programs in me
Yeah.
that I'm just like because I also come from a warrior.
Say beautiful.
Yeah, I come from a warrior lineage.
Yeah.
Like literally, like my great, like ancestrally, my great grandfather was a revolutionary
Mm.
against the Spanish and the Philippine People's Army. My mother was a student activist. I hold like warrior medicine,
Yeah.
right? The body work I do is literally like for warrior healers. And so it's a role that I've had to play. And what I was told and learned and like that sort of getting separated and like the whole thing I went through was like they said, put the sword down and like fight with love. And I had to like the purification of my heart came
Yeah.
the purification of like the programs that had been installed in me um about especially around men and safety. And it was like when that started, when I like it brought safety into my body at a nervous system level, subconscious level, somatic level, it was like, yeah, I don't lock my cars anymore. Like I don't ain't nobody rob me. Like I don't know. And I don't say that as judgment or anything. I say it's like there is a heart-centered way too. I've actually said this in retreat a few weeks ago. And it's like a fundamental belief I have. Like, we house the fear of men, not just from our personal experiences, but in our bodies from generations and generations and generations of like nervous system imprints, right? And what if all women were able to recode their minds to act in their bodies, their nervous system, say like men are safe? Those energies would have nothing to meet us. If we didn't have in our subconscious mind that men are unsafe, our subconscious mind would have nothing to pull on to prove it. That's not to say that men are like absolved of their behaviors, how they are, their work, because we can only change ourselves, is mostly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's like the big social experiment. I'm like, how about we all assume men are safe? What happens when we all actually, like, at the deepest level, believe that? Do they then become safe? I actually believe that's true.
Yeah.
Someone might cancel me for this, but I'm pretty sure I believe that that's true.
I'm
Um,
gonna
Mm-hmm.
try that out. Like inner world, outer world, right? Like
yeah,
I'm
go wanna.
I told this client told me the other day that one of the primary reasons she wants to work with me is because I'm the most delusional person that she's ever witnessed in life.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
like,
I
yeah,
mean,
like, and
if
everything I've
anyone
ever been
here,
true. So, like,
if anyone here, anyone who listens to this hear this,
yeah.
I'm happy to take off $200 off a subconscious recoding session.
There you go.
Um, if you're like, I want specifically to deal with this thing,
Yeah,
I will do that.
that's
Because
awesome.
that's like a fun, I don't know, like, why not? Like,
Right.
Totally.
so
I
good.
think one thing with the whole like your heart breaking open and like it's an opportunity to expand, but I feel like the self trust and like that whole edge of growth that it presents, it's like having to do the deeper work. It just like invites you to go deeper and then like like yeah, just connecting more and
Yeah. I mean, because that's all we can do. Like we've, there's like we've all tried to use the strength of our arm. We've protested. We've made fucking hilarious memes. We've cussed people out. We've dated. We've proved. We've learned the lingo. We've analyzed. We've coached. We've done. Girl, it's not happening. Like
No,
all.
and that is the energy of that, right? But what's actually higher is the energy of trust,
Yep. There
the
you
energy
go.
of belief and of faith, right? And so, and it's like, yeah, things are going to meet you on the level of vibration that you're are energetically at. Everything is energetics, and so it's just like, of course, like if we're fearing something, we're going to attract that thing to us. It's going to be able to put a hook in what is already inside.
Amen. And that's the conversation that I think a lot of women. God, this conversation was about like men, and I feel like now it's about women.
But it
But
should be about both.
it
That's the
should be
point,
both.
right?
But I think there's like a big conversation in about that piece. It's like you when there's nothing to hook into.
yeah.
But if there's nothing to hook into, you have to be willing to, as a woman, let go of the hook.
Yeah.
And that might mean you forgiving, dropping resentment, dropping shame, dropping guilt. And like that is like, that's hard, especially when you've been wronged, especially when you've hurt, if you've been abused. Yeah. Like, and if you haven't had like justice, right? Like that's really hard. I've been there. Like I've been there.
My
I've been
baby
in that.
daddy is the prime example.
You
Yeah.
know what though? I think this Mercury retrograde in particular is an invitation to like do that work, like the really deep emotional work. It's like moving through Cancer. I think that's the invitation here. Like, how can we alchemize those like really deep-seated feelings?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did it this morning with him, and he's being guided toward plant medicine because of me, and
Yeah.
I'm shocked. I'm actually like, whoa, like what have I done that is like, what have I shown this man where he is like actually feeling that he's being called to this healing, and I never expected that, and I'm just like, I'm praying, you know, this is
To your
something
baby
that.
daddy, you said? You're
Cool.
nice. Yeah, I mean, and you have a daughter. I have a daughter with a guy. It's like that same thing. It's like, y'all, like, don't repeat it. And
Yeah.
a lot of them, the ones especially, and if you notice, the fact that you let him go, like, I think about this with my ex, like, that was hard. And we were married for like 13 years. And like, when I really let him go, like, really let him go, like, this man's in therapy. He's like, having like realization, not just like realization, like the clicks in his brain that needed to really happen since before there was ever a rupture between us. And I was like, oh, I had to really let him go. And I didn't let him go like, God, bring him back. I was just like, I gotta let him go. And it like gave space for him
Hmm.
to do the thing. And like I had this one mentor who said something to me like, how are you go if he's trying to climb up a mountain and you're holding onto his hand, he's dangling. If he's holding there, how is he gonna use two hands to climb up?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's true. That's fair. That's fair. Just let
Yeah.
him go.
Yeah, so I think at this point, the three of us should kind of drop in. Let's take a few breaths together and see, what messages come through from the divine for us on this topic. And we can kind of, end the channel um, with that. We've talked about a lot. So let's take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. The womb is the room. I think we're in it.
What's coming up for me is just like lighten up. Men need support and understanding. We all do. They don't need judgment and shame. And so just to be like gentle and soft in our ways of relating.
Open and to hold, space in the way that we hold space for ourselves and remembrance of that balance too. And keeping those energetic boundaries that are absolutely necessary for this balance to reach balance.
Men are going from becoming soldiers to warriors, and they're on their way back.
Mm.
When I keep seeing it with scripted wave, it almost looks like Spartans or Atlanteans.
They've been fighting their own fight.
Yeah, that
And
frequency.
it's like we need to just have compassion, like you said earlier, and just keep opening our hearts over and over and over and over again together.
Mm. I'm getting this visual of like when your heart breaks, like imagining that it's a vase that holds, your flowers, and there can be leaks, but like when you have a heartbreak, to allow that expansion to be an opportunity to like reshape your how you hold within, and just like the thoughtful kind of like design of your heart space, and how can it be like a supportive vessel for you and others. And just the importance to like do the inner work on your own heart so that you can share your love.
I'm just doing so much heart expansion right now, and just like real feeling for both sides. And it's like I never want to be perceived as, being judgmental, but I want to be encouraging, and I want to be supportive, and safe, a safe person too, regardless.
The battle's already been won, and you keep your faith, right? We walk by faith, not by sight. Don't allow the circumstances now to dictate. Right now, it's a battle of the mind. Yeah, the battle has been won. They're on their way back. Hold that and just keep walking. Don't try to tussle and wrestle with what's happening now and make the story about it being how it's always going to be and how it's always been.
Hmm. Beautiful. Great. Any final thoughts, ladies?
I love where the conversation went.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like a really beautiful stream.
Yeah. Right, right, right. I love that we found our way back. I feel like I found my way back to myself just like a little bit today, just like talking to you guys, and I needed
Mm-hmm.
this. So thank you. Yeah, it's healing to be in community, especially around these topics. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Yeah, beautiful. Cool. With that, if you're watching this and you have any thoughts that came through during the conversation, we invite you to leave it in the comments.
cool.
Yeah. Don't forget to
Right.
like and subscribe. Find us on socials. Reach
If
out
you
for a
have any
session if you want one.
interested, right? If you share with your friends that might be interested in the channel, and recommend, maybe people that we would also like to connect with and host with and feature in the future.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned before, if you see this and you're interested in trying to do a recoding session about this topic specifically, just message me and you will get $200 off of that.
Yes, we're going to link your social below in the caption, okay?
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you
Thank
guys
you
for
all.
listening.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye.